gentlemen, welcome to Suds News. As always, I am Vinnie. This is Angela. And happy early Halloween to everybody.
Yes.
We've got a fantastic episode. We got a lot to talk about today. I want to say hello to all of you guys who are already tuning in and share alike. Get more people here to join the conversation. And even haters are welcome because we talk about everything and we don't hold back.
Yes.
Angela, how was your week? How was your week last week?
Crazy as always, but okay,
That makes sense. Hey, Shapiro, welcome. Welcome to the chat. Happy Halloween to you too, Donna.
How was your week, Vin?
You know what? It was pretty good. Worked a lot and went to a Halloween party on Saturday and got to dress up as a Ghostbuster. So
nice.
Yep, got my proton pack and everything. So I was excited. And before we get into anything General Hospital, we do have to get our plugs out of the way. As always, we are an official affiliate of the WWE Shop, which is a Fanatics experience. Go over to suds-media.com/wrestling merch. Get anything, whether it's ECW based or something for celebrating the wise man, the originator of violence, Paul Heyman, who is a 2024 Hall of Famer, or any current or past or legend WWE NXT superstar, male or female. I know I spend a lot of money there myself, but either way, if you are so inclined, using that code suds-media.com/wrestling merch does give us a commission that helps with the show. If you are inclined as well, go ahead and help us out. buymeacoffee.com/sudsmedia, because that does help us, with whatever we may need to upgrade the show or perhaps go on location at some point. As well as our Patreon. Go ahead and go to our Patreon, patreon.com/Suds and Squared Circle. You can sign up there. You get all of our pre-recorded shows early and when you do get ads, ad-free, but definitely earlier than they go to the podcast platforms or YouTube or any of that. So that is patreon.com/Suds and Squared Circle. And it's a very low price, just $3 a month for all of that. All right, let's see. We are also
and Vinnie alone is worth that.
Yes, thank you.
At least that much. At least that much.
That is very true. And if you don't want to subscribe, you can always buy the individual videos on Patreon as well, because they have their own price as well. If you just want to watch Take Me Down to Studio City, once that goes up on Patreon, you can purchase that by itself. Or Dockside at the Bay.
Can they purchase Angela Answers fan mail?
They can, yes. If you purchase Angela Answers fan mail, that will be something that you will not regret. I will tell you that. Let's see. We've also got, like I said, Dockside of the Bay, Angela Answers fan mail. Unfortunately, I do want to let everyone know there was no Dockside at the Bay last week. Flu shot, so she was kind of feeling under the weather. So it happens. Life happens. So tomorrow night we'll be filming the next episode of Dockside at the Bay, and it'll go right up onto Patreon as well. We are also an affiliate of Podpage. If you are a podcast looking for a website, go to podpage.com/suds. And again, that does help us out with a commission. But either way, the websites are beautiful. They do have the automatic import from shows that are on your RSS feed, whether it's YouTube or regular RSS for your podcast. It auto imports and shares it as well. So podpage.com/suds. Okay, now that those are out of the way, got a lot to go over.
Yeah, I was just posting the link all over the place.
I do appreciate that. Let's kind of grow.
More
Let's keep
friends
growing
join
our
us.
yes. Let's keep growing our viewership. Last week we had 200 viewers. Let's see if we can get higher than that. As always, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, subscribe, and get notified. Yes, Donna, today is GH Production Day 56 with no Blaze on our screens. And, we haven't seen Natalia recently either. She hasn't been on since that that dinner with Sunny that Carly
Yeah.
appeared.
Actually, she had dinner with after Carly left.
Right. Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
Yes.
she was. Yep. Yeah.
But either way, Natalia has not been on either. So, we have heard the rumors that they are trying to build that family, but there's so much going on right now that they could have put that on the back burner.
And a lot of things are in flux too.
Yes.
A lot of things that they were planning were actually changed over the July break.
Yes.
Like they knew Lulu was going to be needing the liver transplant because Jeannie had recorded those scenes before she left in May.
Right.
And the plan was always for Sam to be her donor,
Mm-hmm.
but the Sam dying part
Was new.
was new after the July break. So,
Yeah.
yeah, lots of things have changed because they were also going to be killing off Ava and then decided not to. So,
yeah, they decide not to.
yeah.
They decide to kill off Jagger instead.
And well, they were always killing off Jagger, but also Sam.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
and Shapiro says today's GH promo was the best in months. And I have to say, being that I used to watch on Hulu, now I watch it on, I watch it on DVR. I don't normally watch the previews, but yeah, the preview for tomorrow's episode was awesome.
No, I think she's talking about the promo, the weekly promo that GH put up.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So good.
Well, this is November sweeps, isn't
it? November sweeps technically starts on Thursday.
Oh, okay. So the first, it'll be the
first. Right. Well, no, the 31st. Thursday is the 31st.
You're right. Yes.
31st. So it starts technically on Thursday. Yep. And we're going to be on Friday night. I am having a Zoom.
Okay.
It's going to be a paid Zoom, $5. We're going to talk about all of the soaps and how they did kicking off November sweeps and, maybe have some spoilers in them. So you can DM me for details about that, but we're very excited about that. And yeah, the promo today for the week was phenomenal. It was really good.
Yes. Absolutely. You've been sending it to me too. So, I mean, the promo has been fantastic. Mm-hmm. And, it's just amazing. First of all, we've said it before, people on social media are just absolutely fickle. I don't understand how people could watch the show and not love what they're doing right now.
In my opinion, it has just kept getting better and better all year long.
It has, yes.
And I mean, as Shapiro pointed out, my girl has only been on one day in the last 2 weeks, and I'm still loving it.
Yeah.
It's because while I am a Carly stan, I am a General Hospital stan above all.
Right.
And I love it.
Yeah, and that's the same with me. It's like I enjoy the show for the show. I have my favorites, and we'll get into some of the stuff that's going on now that is going to impact the future of Port Charles. Mm-hmm. Because of the simple fact that, it has nothing to do with necessarily casting, but just the way the cast is shaping out, the way that, the writing is going and everybody's getting into a flux. I'm enjoying the story. And here's the thing. And I did respond to a couple of comments on Twix, and
you should know better than that.
You're absolutely right. Here's the thing. Okay, Kelly Monaco being let go, it was a business decision. It was, somebody said, oh yeah, well, it was a choice. You're right, it was a choice. It was a creative choice. It is a character that's not getting the writing. So they decided to free up some budget and not re-sign her contract, resign her to a new contract, regardless of her being offered a lower salary, lower episode count, and her accepting it. Ultimately, they decided not to go forward with it. And that was a creative decision that was nothing personal, nothing that Frank found, and of course, we're not there. This is all, speculation. But I don't think that Frank Valentini did it because he has a vendetta against Kelly Monaco.
I don't either. And here's why I think we know this.
Mm-hmm.
Because the show, I mean, a lot of soap fans know, not everybody knows. People under the vets, even Mo,
Yep.
every 26 weeks, the show can get rid of them for no reason whatsoever, even if they're still under contract. Every 26 weeks. With the younger, the newer actors, it's every 13 weeks.
Yeah.
Even if they can have a 3-year contract. After 13 weeks, they're gone if the show wants them to be. That's how it works. The show has outs, the actors don't. So I know that there's been a lot of speculation, partially fueled by Kelly herself, that, it was retaliation for something that happened with Billy Miller. But he's been gone since what, 2018?
Yeah.
And there have been a lot of 26 weeks that have passed since then.
And not to mention
that they have not gotten rid of her.
And also people are saying that it was a toxic work environment and this and that and the other thing. And well, here's the thing. She's been on 6 more years past that. If it was so toxic, she had the option to leave, and she had the option to speak up.
Well, and not only that, Ingo Rademacher sued ABC and GH for firing him.
Yep.
And he threw everything and the kitchen sink at them.
Mm-hmm.
Not a word about toxic work environment, though.
No.
He didn't even lie about it,
Nancy Lee Grahn, and that's one of the biggest reasons as to why he, other than the vaccine mandate, that's one of the biggest reasons that he left is because of the tension there.
Well, he left because of the vaccine mandate. They didn't want to. I mean, Jax for a long time.
He was another one that really didn't have a story.
Exactly. He was Carly's purse holder, but he wasn't a lead, hadn't been in years, and he wasn't even with Carly anymore. And they just didn't want to create story for this guy. And that's how it goes.
Yeah.
And I say this knowing that at any moment it could be my fave too.
Yeah, exactly.
And I would be sad. And I would turn GH on the next day, if it was a weekday, at 2:00 Eastern time, because that's what I do.
Yes, exactly.
And I also want to point out, because I've also seen a lot of people talking about how she was a 21-year vet. Yeah, she was. Peter Hansen was there for 39 years and they fired him. Stuart Damon was there for 36 years and they fired him. Rachel Ames, 37 years. Anna Lee, 28 years. Susan Brown, 27 years. Denise Alexander, 24 years. Brad Mall, 22 years. All vets, all beloved, all fired when they didn't need them anymore.
Exactly.
Or for storyline purposes. And that's sucks for the fans. It happens. This is a show that has been on for 62
years. Yeah.
62 years. They can't, that's just how it goes. Yep. And maybe if her fans weren't showing their ass so much all over Twitter and being such douchebags, I'd feel worse for them, but I just don't.
I don't know whose fandom is more toxic right now, the Sabrina fandom or the Kelly Monaco fandom. Because
the Kelly Monaco fandom is absolutely more toxic right now, because they're just, GH makes a birthday post and they flame it. They blast it with Kelly Monaco stuff, and it's just ridiculous. And it's just, and they're attacking anybody. I used to just not care, and now I'm eagerly looking forward to her death. And I plan on showing my ass all over Twitter. And here's the thing. There's nothing wrong with people being happy a character is dead.
Right.
Kelly does not equal Sam. Kelly is not dead. The Sam fans cheered when Courtney was killed off. The
Yes.
Sam fans cheered when Jake was killed off. I
Yeah.
mean, I did too, but this is how it goes.
I know. Yeah. No, you're exactly right. Hey, Big Daddy, in the chat from Facebook, our first Facebook comment. Been a GH fan since the early '80s,
Nice.
and that's absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for that are going on because we do have an active chat as we've been having over these past couple of weeks. Um, but yeah, it's definitely something that um, that happens. We see it on all TV shows. And no, she didn't have a public meltdown like Charlie Sheen on,
Mhm.
Charlie Sheen did with Two and a Half Men, which I'll be the
Right.
first person to say once they put Ashton Kutcher in that role, that show
Mhm.
tanked because Ashton Kutcher, I can't stand him. But that's a different story. It happens in wrestling all the time. Hulk
Mhm.
Hogan, arguably the biggest wrestler in history, leaves the WWE in 1994. I'm sorry, 1993, right after King of the Ring. Ends up going to WCW in '94, reinvigorates his career by turning heel in '96 with the NWO, but WWE still went on. WCW
Mhm.
ended up getting bought out, but that was more because of Time Warner and all that kind of horseshit. But
Right.
the fact of the matter is, it happens. Whether
Mhm.
you're Hulk Hogan, whether you're Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, whether you're Ingo Rademacher or Kelly Monaco or any of those other
Yeah.
people that you named prior, it happens. Business decisions happen, and the
Yeah.
show goes on.
And I mean, I've been asked a couple times by people, how would you feel it was your favorite? I'm like, if just gonna say, if anybody thinks in my 40 plus years of soap opera watching, where I have watched almost every soap opera at one point or another,
Hmm.
many of them quite religiously,
Yeah,
that I have never had a fave fired or let go or, dropped to recurring and just kind of written off, they're smoking crack. Because of course I have. Everyone has.
yeah,
Every single person has.
yeah.
So,
Because there was even a time that I mean, we've seen them many times that Steve Burton has left the show. He's definitely my favorite character, but I never, yes, I was vocal against the vaccine mandate. I'll be the first one to say that. But at the same time, Jason ended up going over, or Steve Burton ended up going over to, Days of Our Lives. So he still found work, and the show kept going on.
mhm.
Steve Burton left the early 2000s to go to Young and the Restless. It just happens that way. And now he's back. And it's like I have to laugh when people bring up the uh what was that, the 60 year special that they did um
Yes.
last year where Sam and Carly came out through the doors and Jason came out through the middle of the door, and they were trying to say that Sam looked miserable and she didn't want him to be there, didn't want to be there or anything. Again, that's just all complete horseshit.
Well, I'm one who thought that I mean, during the live thing, she was fine. But I am one who thought that, I mean, if you look at the pictures that ABC put up on
Right.
their Instagram,
Yeah.
Kelly she had that smile that kids have with their school pictures where they look like they're in a hostage situation.
Right. Yeah.
But he wasn't even smiling. He was just, I mean, there. What cracked me up the most about that is people taking it as some blood oath from GH that Jason and Sam were getting back together.
Right.
And I was just like, no, this is when he went to Days of Our Lives. In 9 million interviews about it, he said, when one door closes, another one opens.
Right.
That's what it was about. It wasn't saying we're closing the door on Carly and Jason and opening it on Jason
Right.
and Sam, but they took it as some blood oath, which was just bizarre to me. I don't.
So Shapira has a question for you in the chat regarding the Carlys.
Okay.
Can I ask you a question as the number one Carly fan? What your opinion about each of the four Carlys?
Okay, so Sarah Joy Brown made Carly my favorite character from the very first day she showed up. I mean, before that, I was a pretty regular GH watcher,
Hmm.
but I didn't, if I missed a day or whatever, it wasn't a big deal. I happened to tune in. Her first episode was instantly this woman, she's a phenomenal actress. I can't believe this is great. I was just captivated by it and her acting, and she was so good, and it just got better and better and better. So she is the root of my Carly fandom. And until very, very recently, she was my number one. But Laura Wright has taken over as my number one Carly. She really has. She's, I mean, I think that she is who Sarah Brown's Carly would have grown into.
Hmm.
I know a lot of people are like, she's not like, of course she's not. It's been 25 plus years. She
Right.
shouldn't be the same person. There, I need to just have a Carly podcast at some point to really go into all of this. But yes, I was a big fan of Sarah Brown, huge. And now Laura Wright's my number one. Sarah Brown is now your number two. Jennifer Bransford. Sorry, Donna, who no one counts number three. Jennifer Bransford is my number three. Carly. She is. I
But
hated.
she's barely spoken about because I don't
I
know
know
that name
because
at
she was
all.
only on like 6 months, but I hated Tamara Brown's Carly. Tamara Brown. I
Really?
love Tamara Brown. She was amazing as Ava. She was amazing as Kim. I hated her as Carly. She was Mrs. Corinthos. I liked her with Lorenzo. I liked a lot of her stuff with Jason, but she was Mrs. Corinthos more than she was Carly. And I hated that. I absolutely hated it, hated it, hated it. She was still my favorite character, but it was hard. It was painful at times. Um, and it's not that she wasn't a good actress, she was. She just wasn't my Carly.
Hmm.
So she is my number four. So yeah, that's my answer.
All right. Well, that's awesome. Now, we will have to at some point. I know that Pier 54 they do their 411s and they've done a whole series on Carly. But you know
Hmm.
what? We'll have to go ahead and do a bonus episode at one point just on the history of the character and just how
I would
she's
love
evolved
that.
over the years.
Hmm. Yeah.
Because she is the lead actress on that show at this point.
Hmm. Oh God, yeah. Yeah.
All right, so getting into this week, we might as well start with the fact that Sam was wheeled in for surgery on Thursday.
Hmm.
She put up the Superfly Jimmy Snuka "I love you" sign to say, and she says apparently that was an ad lib. That was not scripted.
Yeah.
That may have been the final scene that she shot, even though she'll be on tomorrow.
Yeah, I think that it was. And I mean, I know a lot of people were like, "Oh, she gave that to the Jason and Sam fans," but Sam did that with more than just Jason. It was a Sam
Right.
thing from when she was deaf. Molly taught it to her,
Wait,
and
when
it
she
was,
was deaf? I don't remember
yeah, there
that.
had been an explosion and Sam was deaf for a little while. It was in there. We're gonna make her a heroine and not this
I don't
scam
remember that.
con
I'll have
woman
to
person.
look
Yeah, it was
back.
part of her redemption, just Sam redemption tour crap.
Okay, that must have been like the late 2000s,
Yeah,
maybe when I wasn't watching.
yeah,
Okay, so I'll have to look that up. But
yeah.
it's like, and it had nothing to do with the J Sam fans. It had to do with her
Right.
saying "I love you" to her fans because she's
And
you
her
know
coworkers. And I thought
right.
it was a great moment. It was a great scripted thing. It was very, very Sam,
Hmm.
you know. Um, and I know there's been a lot of complaints about some people smiling in those scenes. Nobody knows nobody on screen. The characters don't know Sam's dying.
Right.
This is Sam is going into a major surgery, but a routine one.
Hmm.
And she's going to help save Lulu's life. Of course, people are smiling. It's a good deal.
It's a bittersweet smile. That's what it is. It's like, you're
Or
you don't want
a
to.
grateful one, or
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Nobody's going to hear that Sam's dead and be like, hoo-hoo. Well, I mean, aside from me, but nobody on screen is going to hear Sam's dead. Nobody's going to get that, notification on screen and be like, ha ha ha. That's not
Right.
what's going to happen.
No.
But right now, there's no reason for direness. As far as Sam, they're dire about Lulu, but as far as
Right.
Sam goes,
Because the other thing, I'm glad they, I really wish they have addressed the fact that just because she's getting this liver transplant, that does not mean that Lulu is automatically going to wake up. She's still going to be
right.
comatose.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I wish they would address that because everybody seems to
They have.
think. I think they addressed that today.
Yeah. Well, they've said it a few times, and they've also said, that it could have no, she's still going to be in a coma.
Right.
It could have no effect because that's why she couldn't get on the registry.
Yeah,
Was
exactly.
because she's in a coma.
Yep.
So
See, and I always thought that I honestly thought that Sam was going to end up dying during surgery, and then Lucas has to deal with the guilt because he's not supposed to operate on a family member, and
right.
they
Well, I mean, okay, so.
Oh, I know, Donna. I knew an actress had been cast.
Yeah. So originally, so I had thought that when I first heard the Cyrus thing, I was like, that doesn't make sense. And then Kelly's mother retweeted it.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, so this is how they're doing it. And then they started talking about all that ventilator stuff. So I'm like, well, maybe this isn't how they're doing it. Maybe they're going to have, another faulty ventilator when she's in the hospital or in the surgery and kill her that way. But then this weekend was GH fan, at Graceland. The actors were at Graceland and they did a little a little preview of this week, and it showed Sam awake.
Yeah.
Which I think, and the spoiler, the breakdowns kind of made me think, yeah, she's gonna wake up. So, yeah, so it looks like it's gonna be the Cyrus thing. And when Cyrus showed up on Friday, because I was like, we haven't seen him. And then we saw him on Friday. So I was like, there he is, maybe.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's what it is. Because Dante's going to propose.
Yep.
And I think Cyrus is going to kill her to try to make things up to Lulu.
Yeah.
Because he put her in the coma.
Yeah. Of course, you can't really apply logic to that thought process, but it's Cyrus.
Well, I mean, kind of, because if he was the one who put Lulu in the coma. So he's
because
so he's clearing the way to Dante for Lulu.
Okay,
I think that's what it's going to be.
Yep, that makes sense. So we saw her going into surgery. Isaiah is going to be doing the operation on Lulu's part to actually put the liver into Lulu. As we said that, Lucas is going to do the surgery for Sam. And okay, I got to ask you, the scene between Lucas and Brad in the locker room.
In the locker room?
Where, Lucas puts, a Danish or something from Eckert's Bakery in Lucas's locker. And then they're having that interchange and then the towel drops. I think they're going to end up getting back together at some point.
I do too. But I thought it was really hysterical when Brad said, it's not like it's nothing I haven't seen before, and you should get that mold checked. It's new. I was like, that's really funny.
That made me laugh. I have to agree.
Another funny line from Friday that's aside from that I thought that I thought of you. I mean, it made me laugh too, but I'm like, oh, Vinny's going to love this line. When Heather said she really missed Alexis.
Yeah.
And Rick said, well, that's something that no one has ever said before.
Yeah.
I was like, oh God, Vinny's going to love that. It made me laugh too. I thought it was funny because as her ex-husband, it makes sense, but yeah.
Right. Oh, I love that. And it's like the interplay between the interplay between Rick Hurst and anybody is fantastic. I love seeing Rick on canvas.
Me too.
He's such a good heel, and
Yeah.
he does so good to make people
Mhm.
just hate him.
And he was so awful to Carly, and I know there's a lot of Carly fans who want him gone, not me. I want him to stay. As long as she can continue hating him, I'm good. I am fine. Not everybody has to get along. It doesn't have to be kumbaya. As long as
Right.
Carly gets to continue hating him, oh, please let him stay. And I love him and Ava. Love
Yes.
him and Ava. All over it.
Oh, absolutely.
They are chef's kiss, no notes.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I love the chemistry they have,
Hmm.
and just how diabolical they could be if, if GH takes the handcuffs off and they just write them as that heel evil couple.
Well, they're the perfect people for, they're the
Yeah.
perfect match for each other because they both have their horrible histories.
Yes.
It's just they got to keep him. And he's such a good actor.
Yep.
He's such a good actor.
Yep.
I just love it. I'm a sucker for a good actor. What can I say?
No, and the way that he manipulated Christina last week, just you could see it, just how it was just so natural to him.
And I loved it.
Yes, it
I
was
did.
great.
He played her like a fiddle.
Yep.
And he's fine with it too. He ended up with a, broken, bleeding lip, but he got what he
Right.
wanted. And so he's good. Yeah, it
And
was
then
great.
this week he's in the hot seat again when he shows up to Marshall's going away party
Yeah.
to let
Let them know
Curtis,
that Heather is
right.
out.
And okay, so I'm sorry, but Portia is just insufferable at this point.
Well, I'm going to disagree with you a little bit. I hated her being hypocritical with Brad.
Right.
Hated it because she was being a flat out hypocrite.
Right.
Because she had changed Heather's test results.
Yes.
However, as a mother, she is spot on. And I know a lot of people are like, but what about all those other victims? She's a mother. She is laser focused on her daughter. And I think that she is playing it exactly right. She's over the top, but that's Carly wouldn't be any different with Jocelyn. And I hate the fact that they haven't let Carly react to it, considering the fact that Heather literally attacked Jocelyn. I mean, she was trying to kill Joss when she got Brando.
Yep.
And she, when she killed
Brando,
right, exactly. So I want Carly to be able to have a reaction to this too, but they just, haven't let her have it. So whatever. But Heather's leaving town, but I think she'll be back. But I don't think Carly's reaction would be any different.
And here's the thing is, and here's the thing. I really feel like Port Charles's notification system for victims is just absolutely horrible. First off, let's kind of run this down. Okay. First off, Heather is her sentence is vacated. Now, for somebody who has a history, regardless of the metallosis, does this mean that all of her felonies that she's committed has been vacated, or just a specific one? Because if not, you could still hold her for escaping prison from her last time.
Yeah, but again, that's all the same. It's in the same. It can all be attributed to the metallosis.
Right.
And I think they just had it vacated because they want to send her out of town. I think she's going to reappear once her settlement comes in. She's going to show up rich.
Oh yeah.
Probably try to kidnap Ace.
Yep.
And I think this
was
one of those. I think this was one of the things that was rewritten in July.
Probably because they got the note that Scott Reeves was available for a weekend, so they brought Stephen Lars back.
Right. And they needed a reason to bring him back. So this worked. And it wrapped up this part of the story for right now.
Right.
They sent her off, but she's not dead. She'll be back.
Oh, yeah.
I have no doubt she'll be back.
Yeah, she will be back. As of right now, they moved her to the alumni section.
Mm-hmm.
So they did write her off. She will be leaving and going to Arizona with Steven
Mm-hmm.
Lars, and I got it. And Curtis going to Steve and saying, "Listen, here's the thing. Go ahead and I'm going to pay you and make it worth your while to take Heather away from Port Charles."
I had no problem with
I
Curtis
didn't
doing
either.
that.
I
My
didn't either.
issue is when he started trying to be a tough guy and threatening, like,
Yeah,
it'll be on you what happens next. I'm like, well,
right,
one, you're a big giant pussy and you're not going to do shit about shit
right,
because this chick hurt your daughter, tried to kill her, killed people to try to get to her, and you're simply sending her to Arizona.
right, exactly. Out in Antarctica.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, come on. So that was like, yeah.
Yeah. So no, I get it. And here's the thing. Going back to the Portia thing, she had a point. I will say she had a point that if I don't, I'm not somebody that always is a fan of bringing up the race card because I'm sorry, I feel like people should be seen equally, regardless of black, white, Asian, etc. But in life, it does happen where
Right. They're not.
minorities are treated differently.
Yes.
So the fact that Heather went after, um, Heather went after Trina for the most part. She did all this as a vengeance for Esme.
Right.
I get it. I understand it, and Curtis and Portia should have had a say. Like Rick said, and I believe Rick, I have to understand. Side with Rick that he just thought that the case would have been reopened,
Right.
and that's what he tried to explain. That he had
Right.
no say
Them
over the
them
judgment.
blaming him, I thought was unreasonable.
Right.
And I mean, I didn't disagree with what Portia said because of how she was saying it. From her point of view, she was focused on her daughter. But when
Right.
she said, if it was a white girl, well, I mean, Britt was white and she was killed.
Right.
Joss was, and Joss is white and she was a target.
Diane was
And
attacked and never heard anything. And
Diane,
she's a lawyer
Ava were both, you know what I mean? So that was a little weird. But again, I just took it as a mother
in the moment.
focused on her daughter, which
Yep.
made perfect sense to me.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, Portia did try teaming up with Esme to split Spreen up at one point. She did.
That's
That was
right.
the
Yep.
enemy of my enemy is my friend kind of thing.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. She
While
did.
she was pregnant, I remember that. Yep.
Yep. And right
Um,
after she had the baby, because she had
oh, you're right. You're right.
yeah,
It was after. Yep.
right. And she had no memory. Yeah. I'm
Um,
so sad we lost that great little actress.
Joe Field.
Avery Pohl.
Oh, Avery Pohl. Yeah. Oh, I know. I mean, I would love to see her back. I wish she would come back at some point, maybe with Heather. And, that could be some great stuff to sink their teeth into.
I do too. My thing is I don't want Spencer alive, so I'll take this is one of those where, she can have take one for the team so that fuck boy comprised entirely of red flags stays fish food. Although I'm
Um,
sure he will be back at some point.
just when Trina gets, established in a new relationship with the new guy that's coming to Port Charles.
Although they seem to be kind of already the stuff with her and Gio.
Yes.
I loved that. I absolutely loved how he was like, "Do you mind if I crash on your couch?" The
Yeah.
mansion seems a little scary now with all of this. That was so gallant and chivalrous, and he made
Yep.
it not, "I'm going to take care of you, little lady."
Right.
It was more that she was doing, him a favor, which
Yeah.
he kind of like gave her agency and stuff, which I thought I really loved it.
Yeah, you're right. They did waste a great chance. Esme should have played lots of scenes with Kevin. And,
Mhm.
and I honestly feel if the writers and directors strikes never happened and Monsters production wasn't pushed back, they probably could have done a different scenario with Spencer
Right.
rather than killing them off. It
Right.
just so happened it had to change because of
Right.
Nicholas Alexander Chavez leaving rather than
Right.
just taking the break.
Right. And they had to be ready for it.
Yep.
They had planned out this storyline and they knew they were going to be executing it when he left.
Yeah.
So they had to be ready for it,
Yes.
which meant, and that's why Trina disappeared for so long
Yeah.
afterwards, because it was hard to write her into things, not knowing if at that point her boyfriend was dead or alive and she was in Paris and yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's, what I think would be really great when they are ready to bring Spencer back. They bring Avery back as Esme's twin,
Yeah.
who an amnesic, a Spencer with amnesia latched on to because he thinks this is his girlfriend.
Yeah. Makes sense.
And, she brings him home.
Yep.
And then she has to deal with, this whole town.
I mean, or they could just make a whole new character for her.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, her father was a twin.
Right.
So, runs in the family kind of thing.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right.
So, and it runs in the family on her mother's side because, Heather is Susan's cousin and Susan had Drew and Jason.
Jason, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
So I mean, it's definitely a possibility. So we'll see how that plays out. But of course, that's going to be in the near future. In the future, not anytime soon. I see Spencer's fans were getting on my nerves. It's the Sabrina fans that are getting Shapira. Don't get me wrong. The pairing is the pairing. I wasn't necessarily a huge fan of it. I could have lived with it, with or without it. But it's just when people get on their horse, when people get on their horse, it just grates on me, especially now with the Kelly Monaco fan.
I think that the Sabrina fans are pissing me off more now. I mean, they used to annoy me back then to a point, but it was like whatever. But I think they're pissing me off more now. If they do not leave that man's girlfriend alone, for the love of Christ.
Yep. I want, like I said, I want him to come back and
smack him down and tell him to knock it the F off. But he won't.
I want him to come
won't. He's just done with them all.
Well, that's just it. Like, he unfollowed everybody from GH except for a select few.
Right.
He took every mention of General Hospital off of his profile. Like, he's distanced himself enough, and they still attack. It's like, come on now.
Yeah, it's all the girlfriend's fault. It's all the girlfriend's fault. According to some of them, he's secretly in love with Tabiana, and for some reason, the woman that he's not married to or has children with, has him down on lock. So, make it make sense.
Yeah, exactly.
They can't, but whatever.
All right, let's move on to another thing that happened in General Hospital. Have I seen the Beyond the Gates gatekeeper posting? I'm not sure. I have seen different things where they're announcing part of the cast. I know there was a cryptic Instagram post from Ray Al Andrews saying that he's got a brand new role coming up. I don't know if it's officially, and this I got in trouble for yesterday on the 10th floor feed. Whether or not he is officially signed to Beyond the Gates.
Well, he said that he can't talk about it, so he's under an NDA.
Right. Yeah.
So, but it could be Beyond the Gates. It could be something else. We don't know. Yeah. They just announced more and haven't announced him. So, I mean, it's just a wait and see. It's possible, but we'll see.
Yeah. So,
if he has to move to Atlanta because everyone has to be a resident of Atlanta.
Well, okay.
They're requiring it. Probably for tax purposes, I would imagine that they get some kind of tax break. So,
hey, Rick Hurst is a resident of Atlanta.
Not anymore. He moved to New England now. He's somewhere up in the Northeast.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did mention that.
Yeah.
He did mention that.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait for Beyond the Gates to start either. I agree.
Yeah.
It'll be the first
Very
soap that I'll be able
excited.
to watch from the start. I'm very excited for it. I'm excited for it because it expands the genre. Like,
Mm-hmm.
just the fact that off of all these reality shows that have come out, and let me tell you, reality TV is just plain garbage. Um,
Yeah.
I am so happy they're coming
It's
up with a new
scripted
soap
and
opera.
it's trash.
Yeah,
I'm like,
exactly, exactly.
it's, I can
It,
proudly say I've never watched an episode or even part of an episode of The Kardashians.
no, me either. Me either. Never watched the Kardashians. Never watched The Bachelor or The
Nope.
Bachelorette or The Golden
None of that.
Bachelor.
I watched a couple seasons of The Real World on MTV back in the day.
Yes.
I watched
Without the
American
real world,
Idol
we
a
wouldn't
few
have the Miz.
seasons of American Idol, but other than that, not my jam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Without the real
So
world, though, we wouldn't have the Miz. So, I mean, I have to thank the real world for that. Surefire WWE Hall of Famer when he's ready to retire. Um,
one of my high school friends who I go back and forth with all the time now was on one of the seasons.
okay. Very
Yeah.
nice.
So
All right.
ugh.
And it's like you're right, Shapira. You can watch that and GH as well. And here's the thing: with streaming, you could watch them all if you have
I
enough
do.
time.
Tony and I do.
Yeah, if you have enough
A
time.
lot of people watch them all because we don't live in the days like my mother used to have 2 or 3 VCRs set up in the house to record different soaps on different and nobody was allowed to don't touch the set. It's recording my shows. My stories are on. Don't touch the set. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, I get it. Believe me, I get it. I remember back, and I wasn't big into the soaps when I was a teenager, but during the Monday Night Wars, I had 2 TVs in my room, one on Raw, one on Nitro.
If you missed it, you missed it.
Yeah,
That
there
was the
was no
thing. You
DVR.
missed it, you missed it. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. So I just, that's the biggest thing is that now you can watch everything and you don't have to choose.
I've told my kids about how you had to, there was no pausing.
Yeah,
There was no
no pause.
pausing. There was no And I'll never forget the first time I took my nanny kids to a movie. We went to the movie theater, and at the end of it, they went, "Can we watch it again?" And I'm like, "This is not a DVD, sweetheart.
All
No, I
right.
can't. We got to go home." They didn't understand because they were so used to being able to just watch it again.
Yep. Yep.
Nope. Yeah,
Yep. I'll never forget that.
different world.
Oh, it definitely was. Definitely. It just crazy. Anyways, all right. Let's see. Moving on. All right. Today, Cody is my hero.
Oh, I loved it. I
I
felt so
absolutely.
bad for poor him and poor Sasha.
Oh God. I like. Here's the thing: is I want to see where they're going to go with it because with Sasha being Holly and Robert's daughter, first of all, there were people saying, "Well, maybe Robert and Mac aren't actually brothers." Well, I mean that you're complaining about retcons, and then you're saying that could be, that you want to retcon for that, which whatever.
And officially today, Sasha confirmed
They are
that they
first
have never had sex.
right.
Which some people were like, well, maybe we just didn't see it. No, nope. She officially confirmed that they never had sex. So,
Right.
yeah.
But see, in New York, it is legal to be with your first cousin. I mean, if they
Still
decide to
creepy,
go
though.
down that route,
Yeah. It's like
yes,
Jeff Goldblum says in Jurassic Park.
never saw it.
They said, when he was talking about the scientists, they were so concerned about whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think about whether or not they should. You've never seen Jurassic Park?
No, I was never a Jurassic Park fan. It didn't interest me at all.
The first one is so good. If just for Jeff Goldblum's smartassness.
Well, I do love Jeff Goldblum.
We might have to have a Saturday night Zoom watch, or maybe if you come up for you and your wife come stay for a weekend or something, we'll do a movie.
Yeah.
Or Laura Wright at Zombie Hideout.
Yeah.
We'll do a movie night. Yeah.
um, no, I just no, I did love Jeff Goldblum in Independence Day. I thought he was the
He's
best
so
character in
good. He's so
that.
good.
But so yeah, it's my thing is that they're investing in Sasha by
Hmm.
giving her the roots of two legacy characters, like um, you know, giving her the parentage from two legacy characters like Robert and Holly. They're investing in her. She's there long term,
Yes.
I think.
And I have a feeling. So I think I know they're going to do a huge shakeup with
Hmm.
that age group.
Yep.
I don't think Drew and Willow end up together,
No, I don't think
but
so.
more is going to. I think more is going to happen, or well, now maybe not because it's come out, but it's going to break up Willow and Michael.
Yes.
I think Michael and Sasha will end up back together.
Hmm.
I think
As long as Michael is a little bit more interesting than he's been, I think with Sasha he will be because
yes. Well,
Sasha
that's the
has
thing is
great
that somebody
content.
with a little he was great with Sasha before, but she was a little
Yeah.
bit of a bad girl, but they're kind of giving her more of that with, Holly was her mom and a con woman and taught her to be one. So maybe we're going to see that side of Sasha picking back up again,
Hmm.
which would be great.
Yep.
Because then, in a way, seeing Michael with somebody who's more like his mom than like, you know, a good girl would be
Hmm.
interesting
Yeah.
to see him with that dynamic. I also think whatever this secret BLQ and Dante have, if they're still going that way,
Right.
is going to bust up Brooklyn and Chase.
Yes.
And I think I could see Willow and Chase back together,
Yep.
and maybe Cody with Brooklyn because he's so close with Tracy.
That's definitely a possibility. I would actually have I would actually have said that Willow and TJ might get closer because we saw them teasing that
That could
during.
happen too.
I don't know. The Willow character is very on and off with me. Where there's sometimes they get her heated up to a point where you think she's going to do something, and then all of a sudden it
Yeah.
just stops.
I've been
And I
loving
know
her
that's
with
the
this
writing,
Drew
but
stuff because she's messy. Other than
yeah,
that, I was just like her. I mean, for a long time, Michael has been a massive disappointment to me as the son of Carly, AJ,
yeah,
Jason, and Sonny. He should
yes,
be so much messier.
oh
So
yeah,
much messier. And then him and Willow together were even worse because they're just
they're
they're very,
too,
very sweet, but that's not
yeah,
what we watch soaps for. That's not
exactly. I agree.
there's Hallmark for that.
And speaking of Michael, he is going to be temporarily recast by the guy Robert uh,
Adamson or something like that.
that played him the last time he was
Yeah.
temporarily recast.
I think it's just for an episode or so because Michael
Yeah,
is on this week.
right.
He was in the promo pictures for this week, so he is on. But there were some people today making a joke on Twitter and
Robert
mocking
Adamson.
him. Yes. No, Robert. They're making a joke and mocking because according to Soap Opera Digest, it was a scheduling conflict. And they're like, how do you have a scheduling conflict with your job, and making fun of him? And then, oh, it turns out Chad Duell's father passed away. He just
That's
didn't want to announce it,
yeah,
which is
but
understandable. Some
exactly
people want to mourn alone. They don't owe us their grief. So
right.
all those people making fun of him, maybe people should,
Maybe people should respect privacy.
yeah, and just maybe take a beat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like all the people that were hassling Jocelyn when her mother passed because,
Yeah.
or Ian McCoy, I should say, when her mother passed, and she wasn't there for she wasn't there for Bobby's memorial, so they had the recast stand in. It's
Which
like,
I
come
cannot
on.
even imagine how hard that would have been for that little girl
Yeah,
after she
exactly.
had and she is young. You don't expect to lose a parent that young,
No, not
and
at
her
all.
mother, and they were very, very close. And people have just been, oh God. You're right, Bananas. Eden has not been the same, and it's disgusting because she's so sweet.
She is.
And they just keep on and keep on and keep on, and it's just they're disgusting.
They really are. It's sad
But
that it's, and I know I will be the first one to say that we bitch a lot about social media on this episode, or on this show, I should say, because of the fact that social media in general is very toxic. And I know we've got a lot of people watching on Twitch right now and on Facebook and everything.
mhm,
And we appreciate the people that tune in, because you're tuning in to
yeah.
get tea from Port Charles.
Mhm.
But see, and you're right, Bananas. When she was nominated for that Emmy, people were so disgusting. But that's not her fault. She
No.
was nominated for an award, and it just so happens, because of the daytime Emmys rules at the time, anybody 25 and under is in the same age bracket. And
Right.
it just, which is bullshit in itself.
Well, it was actually they had changed it with that year. They had changed it to 18 and under. So
Okay.
it was 25 and under, and then they had gone to 21 and under, and then they went down to 18 and under. They like, but it's so funny because so many of the people that were complaining about her being nominated for that are huge, massive fans of the guy who was a little bit older, who had won it the year before.
Yep.
Older than her, same award.
Yep.
The lack of self-awareness is just, and I know, I just want to take a moment. I know that I am a real smartass and I'm very, very hard on characters and have opinions about a lot of things and opinions about a lot of people and stuff like that. I keep it to the show.
Yes.
I don't bash the actors, not on social media. I keep those to private conversations.
Yep.
So me, saying I'm going to celebrate, Sam's death is not the same as the people
Kelly
who
Monaco actually
were
passed.
exactly.
Yep.
It's not the same as the people who, bullied this young girl after they found out her mother had died.
Yeah, exactly. And after, and so my advice is just wait a second. You don't have to go off on, anybody who's, and I say it in our tweet, haters are welcome, because you know what? There's a lot of haters out there, and we do, we do stir the shit at times.
Mhm.
But, it's just because, I like to call out the ignorance of people. But the other
Mhm.
thing is, the other thing is just, you look stupid when you're putting in your post. Granted, have your favorites, but because your favorite is leaving, you're doing the hashtag fire Frank, and you're tagging Frank Valentini, and you're tagging Nathan Varney.
Yeah,
And
that's going to really
Rob
help you
Iger.
out. It's
It's like they probably have you muted at this point.
mhm.
It's like,
Well, their interns certainly do.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that I mean, be angry, and if you want to post something like "Fire Frank," go ahead, but don't expect that that's helping your fave get her job back. Because,
Right.
and the thing is that even if they did fire Frank, your fave's still probably not going to get her job back, because what executive producer is going to sign on to deal with that crazy when they know they'll be next?
Right.
This isn't like, and I know people are like, Becky got her job back and the regime was fired. Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Yep.
Over a decade ago.
And that
Different thing. And from what I've heard, Frank is not the one who made the decision.
Yep.
From what I heard, it came down from the network. And I'm not the only one who's heard it. So, whatever it is, but from what I've heard, it came down from the network. So,
and Frank has been doing a great job, because ever since he took over, it's slow. But he took the fact, he took it down from, remember, at the time Frank took over,
GH.
He saved GH because, they got rid of All My Children, they got rid of One Life to Live, and GH would have been next had they not brought Frank Valentini on.
Yeah.
And he is absolutely fantastic. And you know what? With the team they have there behind the scenes, with Frank as EP, Mark Teschner as the casting person, and now with Chris Chris and
Gorche.
Elizabeth as head writers, they have a team in place that is doing great things for the show.
Right.
And I don't want to hear about the Nielsen ratings. That's an outdated algorithm.
Oh my God, people with those. That'd be another podcast we can do.
Yeah.
And another thing too, I watch all 4 soaps. And you turn on Young and the Restless. Watch an episode of Young and the Restless. Watch an episode of Days of Our Lives. Watch an episode of Bold and the Beautiful. And you will come screaming back to General Hospital. The production value is a million times better. I mean, I love all of my soaps. But Days of Our Lives sometimes literally broadcast episodes where you can see the boom mic in the shot.
Yep.
And they're just like, it is what it is. Young and the Restless, their sets are older than I am. And I'm not young.
And I call the Young and the Restless the old and the sleepy
Yeah.
because that's what it is.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. And I love Jason Thompson, but he should have never left GH.
Yeah, well, I'm fine with it because it took Robin away. And then Bold and the Beautiful. When I worked for Soap Opera News, we used to do Best Dressed. And we knew who was going to be nominated for Best Dressed from Bold and the Beautiful at the beginning of the week.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're wearing the same thing the whole week. One, it's half-hour episodes. They repeat more. There was one flashback of the stupidest thing, 2 people touching hands, like in a loaded moment. In one episode, one 30-minute episode, 3 different people flash back to it over 10 times. We're like, they're going to have to give this flashback a credit, for the love of God. It was insane. So I'm telling you, I mean, Frank is not perfect. GH is not perfect. But of the 4, production value, acting, scripts, GH is my fave. And that's just how it goes.
So in chat, Ann asked, do either of you think that ABC would ever deliver All My Children? Well, they did, they did tease the idea of having a primetime Pine Valley
Right.
show that Mark Consuelos and Kelly Ripa were supposed to be doing.
Right.
But that kind of fell through the wayside. But now Hallmark has the rights to All My Children that they're going to be doing.
They have partial rights because they're going to be doing like I think a standalone kind of thing,
Yeah.
a Christmassy thing. I mean, it's possible. The Hallmark thing is probably a test balloon.
Right.
I don't think we'd ever see either of them back on network television, but on a streamer.
Yeah.
In a limited run, like a Beyond Salem kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. It's possible. I would say that the Hallmark thing is probably a test balloon to see the interest in something like that. I don't think, no matter what, I mean, everybody in the world could watch it. They're not putting it back on network TV. But I could see it being on Hulu, being there like a Days of Our Lives kind of thing on Hulu or something like that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think they really could do. I think they really should do that. But
I agree. But I also think people are waiting to see how the Gates do.
Yes.
As far as the market for more soap opera content.
Oh, absolutely. But I also think they should have taken the cue from Beyond Salem and just how popular that was.
Yeah.
And how I don't know if Peacock releases their viewership information for days, but
no more than Hulu does. Like they have their top and stuff.
Yeah.
Days is doing great on Peacock. It's doing phenomenal. And Peacock has backed up the money truck. Peacock gave it a 2-year renewal, which they hadn't seen in well over 15, 20, maybe 20 years on NBC. They had only done year-to-year renewals for them. Yeah. So, the 2-year or 3, I think, was it 2 or 3 that Peacock picked them up was massive. That commitment to them. I've been saying for a while that they, should really do a spin-off. Nixon Falls. Sun Sunny. Sonny can go. It can be his show.
But I mean, they could easily revamp Night Shift if they want to be more hospital focused. They can revamp Port Charles.
Although it really seems like they're focusing more on the hospital and they're
Yeah,
building up the whole WSB thing. I mean, even what this mob is involved in right now is
yeah,
WSB related.
it is.
So, yeah.
And it's like I was listening to Pier 54 earlier today, and because Finn is in Portland now teaching up in the upper Midwest, and that's where Ellie lives, and she's dating Griffin, and they could do GH West Coast, with the core group of characters. I don't think that's going to happen, but
yeah, probably not.
it's a good
and
thought.
ABC already has Grey's Anatomy,
Right?
which is basic,
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah. But
Let's see. What else we gonna talk? What else happened this week? So much
Carly and
went
Jack.
on.
Oh, one thing. Carly's scenes with Sam when she was thanking her, and Sam was a heinous bitch. What the hell was that?
I don't know. I
It
really
was
don't.
so ridiculous. Well, you always want something bullshit. And what the hell? Bitter, bitter bitch. Again, another reason I'm rooting for this character's death. But then we get some sparkly Jack and Carly.
Yes.
And the scenes, I love the scenes with her and Jack. And I loved when he was telling her that she'd be a great WSB agent. I could just see Jason being like, "Don't put that in her head. What is wrong with you?" Jason's just like, "No!" But then, she calls Jason and he shows up. He's instantly pissy.
Yep.
He's all mad. And, but then she, makes her case to him about why he should tell Jack the truth, and then just pats him on the arm and leaves the two of them to figure out. And they had the big blue eye stare down.
Yes.
And then Jason told him, which I couldn't believe, because that just kind of can really screw over Sonny's deal.
Yeah.
Telling the WSB about this. And we have not seen Jason tell Sonny that he told.
Right. Exactly.
He hasn't. And then I loved him threatening him about Carly.
Yes.
Because of course
marking his territory.
Yes, exactly. And then today, the whole Anna is, saying to the Jackal, Jason trusts you with his life, and I trust me with him with mine. And then they focus in on those diamonds because Jason hasn't told her. And he knows, she's the one who told him Sidwell's in the States.
Yes.
So he knows what Sidwell's after, and he hasn't told Anna.
Right.
Which kind of puts her in a little bit more danger than she's in already. Yeah. So that I thought was interesting.
I did too. I really did. It's I can't read it right now, which is great because I can't predict what's going to happen or why the why the characters are doing what they're doing. I'm wondering if Jason is going to, have Sonny do this deal and help the WSB capture Sidwell. And it'll be a double turn.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I mean, it's interesting. It really is. It's, and is, if Sidwell shows up and is a danger, would Jason just take those diamonds and give them to Brennan to protect the people he loves?
Yeah.
And screw over Sonny? I bet he would. I absolutely bet he would. And they're definitely, I mean, if anybody has any doubt that Jason is going to end up working for working for Brennan.
Oh, yeah.
Put down the crack pipe. It's absolutely going to happen.
Oh, it definitely is.
Yeah.
It definitely is.
So that's absolutely going to happen, which is going to be interesting on many a level.
Yes. Hi, Conwan. Welcome to the chat. I saw your chats a couple minutes ago. Just haven't had the opportunity to welcome you to the chat. But so he says, my understanding, what is Kelly Monaco thing that is that they written it so poorly to the point I don't even understand how they can honestly get him and
I think he means Lulu.
Yeah, back together and into Lulu. Um,
I think that they've written it great. I love this
yeah,
story. And the thing about, I mean, yeah, he's in love with Sam. He had moved on from Lulu.
yep.
He can move on from Sam.
Oh yeah,
It's gonna, this is what happens. He can move on from Sam. He's going to move on from Sam. It's not
yeah,
gonna be quick,
right.
but my bet is that by Valentine's Day, Dante's kissing someone else.
Yeah,
Either
I would assume you're right.
Lulu, Brooklyn, somebody else. I would bet by Valentine's, by February sweeps, Dante's kissing somebody else. I really think he will be. People move on fast in this show.
Oh yeah, Sasha was the only one that took
right, and
2
that was
years.
because she went crazy.
Yeah,
She went crazy. So, yeah, and I mean, Liz was flirting with Finn just a couple months after Franco died, and that was her husband.
yes, yep.
So, yeah, I mean, Dante's going to feel bad. He's going to mourn Sam without a doubt. Without a doubt, he will mourn Sam. He's
Yep.
going to move on there,
Oh yeah,
and they can very easily put him back with Lulu because she was the love of his life for a long time. She's the mother of his children.
yeah.
So yeah, I don't see a problem with them putting Dante and Lulu back together. And I've enjoyed the story too.
Oh
I
yeah.
think they've done it great.
I thought so too, and the way they're putting it is just absolutely fantastic. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be really sad if this means the end of Cyrus, just because
Right.
I love him.
Yeah.
I mean, Cyrus is great. Jeff
Oh
Kober
yeah.
is,
I
but
love.
at the same time, I mean, Ava's walking around, Sonny's walking around,
Oh yeah. No, Cyrus.
Jason's walking around.
The only person that I know of that ever got caught doing that was what's his face?
Yeah.
Paul.
Yeah. I know who you're talking about. Yeah, Hornsby.
Hornsby. There we go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. And that's the thing is that, I mean, they could, I mean, I'm sure if it's Cyrus, they're absolutely going to have him get caught.
Yeah.
But,
well, Donna,
I mean, at the same time, I mean, we hadn't seen Cyrus for a really long time.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You're right.
So did they just bring him back to do this
Just
with him?
to do
It's
this?
possible.
Yeah.
And they can send him to jail.
Oh yeah.
And then we see him again someday, possibly. We'll see.
And Donna, I don't know if Sam is necessarily going to be a noble sacrifice because she didn't die during surgery. So
true, but she's still going out a hero.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like, she's going out a hero. She's saving Lulu.
Yeah.
It's not like they just had her get hit by a car, and it's just.
Do you think that we're going to see some tension between Rocco and Danny?
Yeah. Well, on Friday, Rocco feels bad. So I absolutely think, and it might even not be until later. I mean, it could be now, but it might not be until later when Lulu wakes up.
Right.
But we'll see. I think that, yeah.
Yeah, I think that, yeah.
I'm interested to see Scout in the Willow and Nina dynamic because I think she's going to be.
Yes.
I think Nina's going to want to mother her, but she might gravitate towards Willow because Willow was the teacher and yada, yada, yada. The kids all love her, which would be interesting.
Yeah.
I want some Nina and Willow mother-daughter tension over Drew.
I do too. Yeah.
For the fun, because it's soapy and it's fun.
It is.
I'm not saying hate each other forever, but a little bit of, no, the man's mine, bitch.
And the thing is like, they did put a swerve in there when they had Willow go to Nina and say that she kissed him.
Yeah.
Now, granted, Nina doesn't know that they kissed again or that they've said they have feelings for each other.
Mm-hmm.
As of right now, Drew is acting like every other politician and having his cake and eating it too.
Well, it was funny. It's funny because tomorrow Nina's telling Willow, I made a mistake. I told you,
Yeah.
gave you the wrong advice to not tell Michael, because now you're going to have to tell Michael because an entire bar full of people know.
Yes.
Sorry. My bad.
Oh God. But you know what? It's um I'm enjoying the writing. I like the tension that's there. It's all gonna lead up to something big. I can guarantee it.
Oh, I
Um
am so happy.
all right,
So there
so
was a question in the
we
chat. Who is Lucky saying, "Don't you want to know where I've been?" I don't know who he's saying that to, but I do know that tomorrow one of the breakdowns is Lucky opens up to Laura. So it's possible that it's Laura, but it also is possible that, he's talking to Liz because it's at the
or
hospital.
Dante or yeah.
Or exactly. It's, he could be saying that line to anybody, but I know that Lucky and Laura have some really good stuff tomorrow.
All right, so I gotta ask you. So after we did touch on it earlier, how Rick went to the sending away party for Marshall, which actually was Robert Gossett's last scene.
Hmm.
He has been moved to the alumni section as well. He's going on tour.
Yes.
So while Rick is telling Curtis and Portia and everybody, because Portia put him on the spot and said, "Tell everybody what what the news is." Um, Molly was defending the fact that it wasn't Rick's choice. It
Yes.
was the legal system. It was
Right.
just, the Justice Department, whatever.
And as a
And
lawyer,
I get
I
it.
think that was realistic, and I liked
Yeah,
it. And he's
I
her
do too.
father, so
Right. And that's what causes the rift between her and TJ, which I
mhm,
honestly feel has been building up for a while. This just kind of
yes.
put it over the edge.
Mhm.
But then, Molly confronts Rick at home to say, well, you
Yeah.
didn't have to take the case.
Yeah.
Well, Scott was kidnapped, so I mean, he had no
Right.
choice. Um, but of course, he explains himself that he wasn't exactly expecting her to get or sentence to be vacated. Um,
Mhm.
but then, you know, Molly says, "Well, then why are you defending Ava?"
Ava.
You
Yes.
know, and he's like, "Because I want to prove to you that what happened was an accident. Not
Right.
saying that Christina wasn't stupid for going over there,
Right.
but was nobody's fault what happened."
I thought it was really beautiful, his reasoning for that,
Yeah.
especially with his experience, because he had lived so long with his life being so resentful towards Sonny. And
Hmm.
then, he sees his daughter going down that path and he really wants to spare her that,
Yeah.
which I thought it was beautiful. And I think that in the end, it will have that effect for Molly. She just
Agreed.
can't see it right now.
Yeah. Well, yeah, of course. And that's usually how it always happens.
Yeah.
Hindsight is always 2020.
But it was a great use of history
It was.
on the
Yep.
show, which they get called out for not using it, but I want to give them, their flowers. It was a great use of Rick's history, I thought.
It was.
So,
And just the way he said, "I don't want you going down this road."
yeah.
And I did happen to like when Sam was at the hospital and they were asking, "Oh, Christina and Molly aren't here."
Yeah.
And it's like, well, they can't get past their own attitudes to be in the same
Yes.
room and be supportive.
And I think it's hysterical that there's a Friday spoiler, which will be after Sam is dead and everybody knows at that
Hmm.
point, because she's dying Wednesday into Thursday.
Okay.
So by Friday, one of the spoilers on Friday is Rocco feels guilty. So everyone knows Sam's dead at that point.
Yeah.
And there's a spoiler on Friday. One of the breakdowns is Christina and Molly bicker. Like, I am so looking forward to Nancy Lee Grahn. I think she's going to have amazing
Oh yeah.
Emmy worthy stuff. And if they are bickering in front of their mother, she is going to rip them both new assholes. And it's
Yeah.
going to be great because she already, you know,
Yeah.
smacked them down. But oh my God, I think it's hysterical that they're bickering after, they're fighting. What are they fighting over? Whose fault it was that they didn't
Right.
see her before she died? You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yep.
I'm like, oh God, that is so funny.
I love the fact, and I want to see it. First off, I have to give Kristen Vaganos her kudos.
Mm,
I feel like
she's phenomenal.
finally they have found the right Molly. You know,
Mhm.
and it's like, and I've said it before. I like Haley Poulos. I like Lexi Ainsworth, but Kate Manzi and Kristen Vaganos bring a higher maturity level to both of these characters.
I agree.
And I can't see Lexi or Haley playing these characters at
No,
this point in time
I agree
because
completely. And I don't see them ever
there
going
are
back.
more layers.
Yeah.
You know, there are more layers. So it's like, yeah, Haley would have been Haley would have been there if she hadn't screwed up, because she was the one in the role. The only reason why she was let go was because of the,
Mhm.
bad choices she made in her personal life. And I'll leave it at that.
Right.
Um, but, it just had to. You know what I mean? It
Mhm.
had to happen because they're just, they're more mature.
Right.
And you
Oh,
can tell.
absolutely. Yeah.
And, it's like everybody's saying, oh, well, Lexi could have played this role. She didn't want a contract.
And they
No.
needed a character. They needed an actress who was under contract for this amount of work. That's
Yeah.
just how it goes. That is just how it goes, and people are just going to have to suck it up and accept it. And for all those people saying that, exactly the Kate Mansi hate, and this is not my Christina. Yes, it is. Christina has always been this obnoxious and annoying and self-centered.
Yeah.
Always. And yes, I know she had a break from that with Blaze, but
Hmm.
the majority of her life, this has been Christina. It is. What they need to do is do a mental health story with her. Maybe she's
Yes.
bipolar like her father, something like that, because, this is Christina. And unless they're going to have her be like this forever, which they could, it's a soap, it's possible,
Hmm. Well,
you know?
I said that before. Is I don't think, obviously we're not seeing the story play out how we thought it would with Maurice possibly leaving. So
I don't think I don't think I I don't think this is over with I don't think the FBI is just going away with this Jagger thing. I really don't.
oh no,
I have a
I
feeling
agree.
it's gonna pop back up again, and I wouldn't be surprised. I still wouldn't be surprised to see him leave.
So we'll see how that rolls, but
Mhm,
I do want to see some kind of angle or story with Sonny and Christina
mhm,
about the mental health. I really do, because it's like she's always been a daddy's girl. She's very very close to Sonny, and
mhm.
the only time we really saw the chink in the armor was when she saw him beating up Dex at Chase and Brooklyn's wedding.
Right. Although one thing I will say was really weird was the her acting like she didn't know what Sonny did, because she lied about the boyfriend that was beating her up because she didn't want Sonny to kill him.
Right,
And she did that TV show, the Mob Princess
Mom
thing.
Princess. Oh,
But
that
at
was
the same
horrible.
time, there's knowing and then there's knowing and
Yeah,
seeing it with her eyes.
yeah. And the
So,
only reason why,
yeah.
and that was that was a ploy by Trey, who was Joe Scully's son, to out Sonny. So I mean,
Mhm.
that was just Christina being naive and selfish, you know, and that was during the recast, another
Mhm.
recast, which I forgot, Lindsay Morgan was the one that played Christina during that time, and
Mhm.
she got a lot of hate as well.
Yeah.
And then they brought Lexi back.
Yeah. Well, another thing I want to say real quick, we don't have to get too deep into it, but I loved the Joss and Deck stuff we got this week.
Yes, I did too.
And
Do
anybody who
you
says all
think
they
that
do is have sex needs to just kiss my very ample ass, because they spent the entire episode talking about their feelings about the Heather situation,
they did?
and then their love scenes was 20 seconds at the end. I literally timed it. So,
And I like how Dex said, I think about that I should have killed her every day.
yeah.
And for a cop to admit that
Mhm.
takes a lot of balls.
Yeah. I thought that it was very realistic too, though.
Yeah.
because this is the woman he loves, and this is, he's seeing this affect her and seeing this affect people she cares about. And, he also has a side of him that worked for Sonny, that was special forces in the army and stuff like that. So,
Yep.
he is capable of killing somebody he thinks deserves it,
Yep.
you know.
Do you think that we see eventually Dex going to the WSB
I would love it.
if he and Jason are working together?
I would absolutely love that. I absolutely would love that. I could see something like that, especially if, well, here's the thing is that I think that, there could definitely be a Heather Weber, because she's going to show back up,
Oh yeah.
but then there could be a murder mystery. They could do a who killed Heather Weber kind of thing. She
I think
kidnapped
Heather's a
Ace
vampire,
and,
and she'll just keep coming back.
right. Yeah. So, we'll see. There'd be a lot of suspects.
So we haven't talked anything really about it on here because we don't normally talk about that many other. But Brandon Barash, his last episode on Days was today.
I'm just saying,
That was shock.
Johnny Zakara could come home. It
Oh
could
yeah.
be time for him to get out of prison.
Yep.
He's served more time than, most major murderers on this show.
And
Uh,
with Lulu possibly waking up, because it was,
right.
they dated in the past
Yep.
and they were partners in the Haunted Star in the past.
Yeah. So that could be interesting while they're, that could be interesting, especially when they're waiting to circle back to Dante and Lulu.
Yep.
And then it would be another guy to throw into that age group, which would be interesting.
Yep.
And, he had a really smoking hot relationship with Olivia.
Yes, he did.
So, that could,
I would love to see Johnny come back. And who knows?
Mhm.
I mean, the fact that we got Lucky back, it's because honestly, I think Steve was the catalyst for Jonathan Jackson coming back. And you know what? It could be him coming back as Brent. It could be Brandon coming back too.
Mhm.
I mean, I love seeing when Steve is in his element. I think it's fantastic, and
Yes.
I like how they've evolved the character. So now he's going to be a single dad. So
Yep.
he's going to be spending more time at the Quartermains with Danny and all that. And
Well, I think he'll actually have Danny with him. I think after Sam dies, he's going to take Danny.
Yeah, that makes sense. But I want to see him. We've seen it. We've seen him evolve as a character. So, I would love to see them bring Jake back as well at some point, but they need to do Aiden and Lucky first.
Right. And it would probably be a new Jake since they aged Aiden.
Yes.
They'll probably have to age Jake up too. So, yeah. But definitely, without a doubt. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be, things are going to look so different, and I like it.
Yeah, I do too.
I like the shakeup because it's still, they're staying true to characters, it seems.
Yeah.
But they're still, it's like writing the ship,
It is. Yeah. It's making it more interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I hope, because I've heard rumors that maybe Cody, after this outburst, because he's going to be so upset that, Tracy or Holly will give him the money for the farm,
Serenity. I had heard that possibility as well.
I hope
that it's
not.
possible that Cody goes. I hope not too. I like Cody. I'm one of the few who liked Cody from the time he showed up.
Me too. Yeah.
I thought he was fun. I think he's a good actor. I thought he was an interesting character. I also like that he's Mac's kid. I like that Mac finally has a biological son. I like that, I'm here for this.
Oh my God, the way you said that, I thought you said I like it because he's Mexican.
No, it's Mac's biological son.
Yeah,
you're like, wait a minute, Angela, what? No, Mac's biological son.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Yes,
and that's I like it because they gave them roots to a legacy character. And the same with Sasha. they're putting the investment into those characters. I don't want Cody to leave, and I like Josh Kelly. I've liked
Mhm.
him, since One Life to Live when he was Cutter. You know,
And now they just have to make Dex Jason's son, and, all will be right in my world. Well, mostly after they put Jason and Carly together, but that's down the road. But,
yeah,
make Jason, Dex's father.
yep.
I'm here for this. I'm here for it, here for it, here for it.
So I do, excuse me. I do want to remind everybody because I haven't mentioned in the hour and a half that we've been on. Keep
Uh-oh.
keep it posted. Saturday, November 16th at 12 noon. We are in, we are going on a 24-hour charity telethon to support Samantha's friends, and they help service animals be rehomed when it comes down, when it comes to their, people being deployed or they're going in the hospital or whatever. So we're going to be doing that November 16th, 12 noon until November 17th at 12 noon. We are working on scheduling. We've got people that are going to be, taking shifts in terms of other podcasters. Jonathan from Chair Shot Sports, Princess Skywalker, they both signed on to help out. Um, Also, Big Mike from I believe it's called the Run In Podcast. Yeah, the Run In Wrestling Podcast. So there will be other podcasters on here. We're going to be doing it on these same 8 platforms, so it'll be a lot of airtime. And um, we are working on celebrity interviews. We've got a couple that have given the okay. We're just trying to work out the details in terms of scheduling, so I don't want to announce anything yet. But we have gone ahead and gotten that, gotten some stuff. Um, so keep that in mind and keep that on your calendars, November 16th to the 17th. That's going to be fun. It's something that I've never done, a 24-hour podcast, so to speak, a 24-hour live feed. Um, I will probably have an IV of coffee going into my veins. Um,
Yep.
so,
I am going to I'm gonna
but
try to do as much of it as I can.
So yeah, I mean, we're all going to take turns. There may be
Mhm.
some pre-recorded times, pre-recorded videos or whatever, but either way, it's for a good cause. It's the first annual and the first time we're doing it. We're going to do it every year going forward, just to help out a specific organization each year. This year, we're doing Samantha's Friends. So any closing thoughts? Did we miss anything? Oh well. Uh, so Shapiro brought something up, saying that some fans think Isaiah could be bisexual because of him and Lucas. Um, it is a possibility, but
It is,
I
I
think
think.
he's with Jordan.
Yeah, I think that they've really made it because at first I thought that when they first announced he was coming on, he's a doctor and Lucas was coming, I was like, "Oh, maybe." But he seems really, really, really into Jordan.
Yeah,
And him and Lucas have been like really friendly, but I haven't gotten a flirty vibe.
me either.
And
Yeah,
I am all over homosexual flirty vibe. I am here for it. Let me tell you. I just haven't gotten it from them. So maybe you never know, but he seems pretty fixated on Jordan, and I don't blame him because that woman is gorgeous and she needs a gorgeous piece of man. And I'm glad that
yeah,
they finally stepped up with one. So yeah, I really think that it's Jordan they're going there with. We'll see, but that's kind of what I think.
agreed.
So
Yeah, no, and I like
yeah.
I like him and Jordan. I really wanted to see Brick with Jordan, but Stephen A. Smith is not available.
Yeah, he's just not he's not around enough. I was one of the few who loved their little flirty
I
little
did too.
thing.
Yeah,
I know that a lot of people hate it, I don't know why, because that's just his character. And I thought she liked him too, so it wasn't like he was being a creeper.
right.
But, you know, but yeah,
Well,
it wasn't ever gonna really be able to go anywhere because
Well,
he's just a
being that
drop in.
ESPN is right in Bristol, Connecticut, it's literally 20 minutes from where I live, might have to put in the word to Stephen A. When the time comes from leave ESPN, there's a full time slot available on General Hospital as Brick.
Yes.
Because could you imagine if, and we're going to fantasy book here right now,
Okay.
because of the simple fact that, let's say Sonny leaves within the next year. Could you imagine if Jason goes to the WSB and then, they need some more, tech support. So they bring in Spinelli and they bring in Brick, because Brick trusts Jason,
Mm-hmm.
and I know Brick has other side hustles. He's not only there for Sonny.
Right. He's
But
a independent contractor.
yes, but I would love to see.
Yeah.
I would love to see a world where, the WSB has the techies in there with Brick and
Mm-hmm.
Spinelli working with them.
Yeah. I like the character of Brick. I think he's fun.
Yeah, I do too.
So, and
All
I
right.
love when people like Stephen A. Smith love GH.
I do too.
I
Absolutely.
think that it's,
Hey, you know
the
what?
genre has a stigma about it that's ridiculous.
Stephen A. Smith was on the pre-show for WrestleMania 39 in Los Angeles, and he mentioned General Hospital on the WrestleMania pre-show.
Mm-hmm.
And then Frank Valentini retweeted it. So it just, I like when the two worlds cross together. That is what gets me all excited, and just the fact that Stephen A. does love that, General Hospital, it's great. And I'm glad they were able to work apart for him.
Mm-hmm.
But we are out of time. We've been at it for an hour and a half.
Yes. Time flies when we're having fun. Bananas, I loved that too. That was wonderful.
So, all right. So we are out of time, and I do want to let everybody know, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, get notified. If you're watching on other feeds, go over to our YouTube page, which is youtube.com/@suds-media, and subscribe there as well. We're trying to build up our subscriber base. And we're just here to have fun. Go ahead and hit us up on the Twix, which is follow me at Vinnie Suds or at Suds Media. And Angela, go ahead and let everybody know where they can find you.
You can find me at Brooklyn74. You can see at the bottom that my Twitter handle, and my DMs are open, and I love to chat with people. You can find me at pettyprattle.com. I'm just all over the place.
And
if anybody wants to, we do a daily Zoom watch of General Hospital at 2:00 Eastern time. We actually we started about 2:10. Sometimes 2:15, so we can fast forward through commercials. But if anybody wants to join, there's no charge. You just DM me on Twitter for the link. And as long as you behave, no matter what fan base you're from, you are welcome.
All right. And tomorrow we will have a new episode out of Take Me Down to Studio City tomorrow night. And that'll be on Patreon on Wednesday. That gets released to Twitter and the RSS feeds. Tomorrow night will be a new episode of Dockside at the Bay, again on Patreon. That'll hit the feeds on Thursday. And then Thursday night on Patreon, you'll have a new episode of Sports Entertainment Center, where Jonathan and I will be back together after a couple weeks apart because of different scheduling stuff. Jonathan and I will be back together. We'll be talking all about NXT, AEW, WWE, and all the stuff for wrestling. That's Sports Entertainment Center Thursday night on Twitter, on Patreon, and then Friday that hits the YouTube and RSS feeds. So I am Vinny. We will see you next week on Suds News, right here where you find it. Thank you so much for watching. Hit that like button, subscribe, and get notified. Have a great night, everybody.
Bye.